The Troubles was how the decades of violence in Northern Ireland came to be known to the Irish themselves. To the rest of the world, the place name most linked with those troubles was probably Belfast, the capital city. But it's the province's second city, right here, that for much of the time was at ground zero of the conflict. It's been called a city of war, and more recently, a city of peace. And it's played its role at the heart of the Northern Irish story, not just in recent years, but right down through the centuries.
David Tereshchuk is a journalist who covered Northern Ireland. His experiences there are the subject of a new documentary. For him, the British Army's role in Northern Ireland bears some troubling similarities to what the United States military is doing in Iraq.
Everyone wanted to win the hearts and minds of the Roman Catholic population. However, using the military to do it was almost doomed from the beginning.
As Tereshchuk points out, the US Army was initially welcomed in Iraq, especially by the long-oppressed Shia majority, and at first the British military received the red carpet treatment from the Catholic minority in Northern Ireland.
The main purpose the British Army was sent in was to help a population that was suffering under oppressive rule, and that was what they did. They came in as liberators.
But all that turned sour after the British government introduced its controversial internment program. Under the program, scores of Catholics were imprisoned on suspicion of being terrorists. Just as the US is now dealing with the scandal at Abu Ghraib prison, so the British were long dogged by accusations of abusing prisoners in Northern Ireland.
It has taken 3 decades now for the truth to be established and for some reparation to start to be made and peace to be established. You cannot have reconciliation without the truth being owned up to. And at least in the occupation of Iraq's case, some truth is now being owned up to, and let's hope that the reconciliation can be achieved much more quickly than in Northern Ireland.
Some of the opposing forces' guns were given up, but thousands more remain at large, and armed banditry plagues much of the country. So while everyday life and commerce have revived, there is still lingering fear and a sense of danger beneath the surface. Whatever normality and calm people may display as they go about their business, the fact remains here in Niger that many people want to keep their guns, secretly of course, and keep them close at hand. Security officials estimate that private arms possession is running at a rate in the most affected areas of 1 weapon per family. As well as nearly 10,000 weapons like these that have been handed in for destruction, up to now more than 5,500 ex-combatants have been helped to integrate into productive civilian life. But they're not the real beneficiaries. The true benefit comes to the ordinary Congolese people, who get to see those two threats to their security, the fighters and the arms, being neutralized. The UN General Assembly, meeting a year after the attack on its host city, has on its agenda, of course, the question of terrorism. It will be addressing not just the horrendous impact of terrorist actions, but also how to abolish the conditions in which terrorist groups can flourish in the first place. It's been another day at the Brazzaville Safe Haven, a chance for up to 200 children to enjoy fun, food and learning. But every day, and every night of course, there are thousands of these much abused and always resourceful youngsters struggling to survive out in the city streets.